Hello everyone and welcome to Job Ready Python Developer Bootcamp, and my name is Prasanna Kundu. I am your host. Okay, so let's start. If you are watching this video, you are not just looking to learn Python syntax, you are looking to become an engineer. So what is the difference between a coder or engineer? A coder writes lines that work. An engineer understands how computer processes those lines, how memory managed, and how to build systems like scalable systems. So here in this roadmap, we are taking you from absolute zero to all the way to building production grade APIs and AI models. Today we lay the foundation. So before we dive in, let's start the groundbreak rules. Okay, so first, the requirements. You don't need a supercomputer or a computer science degree. Okay, what you need is consistency. 1 hour a day beats 10 hours in a week. Okay, and in this bootcamp, we will be using Python. Now, we will be using a very specific version 3.12, and for doing the coding, obviously we need VS Code. I hope you already very familiar, or not familiar, that's not a problem, but we will be doing or proceeding inside VS Code. And if you haven't installed this, so pause the video and link will be in the description. So just install those and come back. And there is plenty of videos available in YouTube, so I'm not going to increase my video length by showing how to install those. Okay, so in this bootcamp, for we move fast, we are moving quickly to connect towards data structure, object oriented programming, asynchronous programming. So keep your hands on the keyboard and let's begin. Okay, and a quick note on our teaching philosophy. This curriculum is heavily inspired by some engineering principles, by industry practices. Okay, we believe in visualizing memory. You will see a lot of 3D diagrams today, because if you can visualize the memory, you can debug anything. Okay, so let's start. So this is a very basic presentation that I have created, although this presentation has nothing to do with learning Python at all, to be very honest. We just need some hands-on skill and the thinking, how to think. Like, it sounds very dramatic, so let's just focus here. Okay, so this is the presentation I have created. So job ready Python developer bootcamp. Okay, now there are some basic things that we are going to focus a lot. Like, first of all, code mastery, then advanced architecture like concurrency, async await, multi-threading, design patterns. This all sounds very like unearthly as of now if you are not related to these terms, but stay with me, it will be clear. Then data and AI, then production, web, all those things will be coming in future lectures. So okay, so before we begin, as I have already mentioned, we don't need any laptop. I mean, we need a laptop obviously. So any laptop is okay. We need consistency, 1 hour a day, and no prior coding knowledge is actually needed. Okay, and learner mindset, that is the main thing. Now if I go down, and I have mentioned here also Python version, and we'll be using VS Code to write our codes. Okay, next part. Let's now start learning how the Python. Before learning Python, I strongly believe that we should know how computer actually works, fundamentally how it works. Now if you know how to play video, how to watch a video in YouTube, how to play a game, how to install a game, so this is not everything what computer can do. What computer can do, ChatGPT is an example. What computer can do, they are like your video game like PUBG is an example, then Gemini, then VLC media player, everything, just name it. Anything we use in our mobile phone today or in our PC today, it's an example what computer is capable of. Now I know I am spending a lot of time by talking philosophical things, so let's now really focus into the real thing. Okay, so how computer thinks? So I am saying computer don't know English, obviously it don't know. It knows only zeros and ones. and this is some school level thing, so let's skip that part. So we provide some code, and there is some interpreter or some translator that will translate this code into zeros and ones. Now computer understands only zeros and ones. Okay, now here we have programming languages. Now there are a lot of example of programming languages. There is Java, there is C++, Python, then there is JavaScript, then there is Go, Rust, a lot. It's like if I start counting only the programming languages name, I need at least like 10 minutes. Okay, so why we need programming languages? That is the first question. Okay, so here's the thing, how we are communicating, we humans, how we are communicating. We communicate through a language. Whatever we have in our mind, we share that thought with language. Now it can be in the form of English, it can be in the form of Hindi, it can be in the form of Bengali, anything. Now computer, what is computer? Computer is just a machine. We need to tell them what to do, but we don't know computer's language because computer understands only zeros and ones. So here comes the programming language like Python, Java, JavaScript, etc. So we write or we provide some instruction in the form of programming language like Python, Java. Then there is a translator or interpreter, that will be more specific word or more relatable word. Interpreter. Now this interpreter interprets some language into zeros and ones, and computer finally get that as its instruction. Okay, now if I move forward, there is some language paradigms. Okay, there is procedural, there is functional, and obviously there is object oriented. Now what is procedural language? There is, it is written as step by step. So let's say you have to make a program, or you have to code something to make a sum of two numbers. Okay, so first of all you have to take input of number 1, then you have to take input of number 2, then only you can actually calculate those. Now if you take number 1 first, then you calculate the thing, and then lastly if you are taking number 2 as input, then that's not how ethically it should work, right? That won't technically possible. So we have to maintain some kind of steps one by one. That is the main ideology behind procedural language. Then there is functional language. Now what I am trying to say by functional language? So what is function? So I know we haven't moved that far to explain what function is, but just think it is like pure math or input maps to output. Okay, now let me explain it in a better way. So let's say I am asking you to peel off one potato. Okay, so for the first time you peel the potato and you give me the peeled out potato. Now I am asking you to remove skin from a mango, remove skin from an apple. Now I'm just again and again giving you different fruits and vegetables and asking to remove the skin of that vegetables or fruit. So you are finally frustrated. What you will do? You might ended up with creating a machine. That machine can take anything as input, like any vegetable or any fruit, apple, potato, cucumber, anything, and it can remove the skin and give the skin, removed skin fruit or whatever like. So that device you can actually think is a function. So what is function again? It is a block of code, or it is a set of instruction that we can reuse. Okay, and then there is object oriented programming at the end. So this object oriented programming, how does it works? Like it deals with real life objects. Now what I am trying to say with real life objects, listen carefully. If I ask you what will be the data type of my phone number, obviously it will be integer or number. If I ask you what will be the data type of, let's say, my name, Prasanna Kundu, so it will be string, character, letters, like that. If I ask what will be the data type of my PAN card, PAN number, again that will be a string or a character, a set of character or letters like that. Now if I ask what will be the data type of me, what will be the data type of you, what will be the data type of person A, person B, person C, that is not defined, right? So here comes the picture of object oriented programming. We create different data type, and we inside the data type we actually combine some other data type together, and that eventually become a object. So let's say I have an object of human, and that human might have multiple properties like its age, its name, phone number, PAN number, everything inside one object. One object can have multiple properties, and we need this kind of object oriented programming to deal with real life problems. Okay, now what we are going to learn? Python. Python is actually a hybrid language. Okay, so it lets you do all three. This is why Python dominates AI and web development with object oriented programming. Now these are classes and objects. These are kinda complex part as of now to explain, so I will cover this in future videos. And okay, here comes the next part which I want to talk. So there are two type of programming: static programming and dynamic programming. Now if I talk about dynamic programming, the examples will be Python, JavaScript and all. If I talk about static programming, then the example will be C, C++, Java. Now I don't know how familiar you people are with different types of programming languages, but if you want to declare one variable, like okay, so what is variable? So if I talk about variable, variable is nothing, it is kind of a storage. Inside that storage we generally store some values, that's it. So let's say I want to store a name, then name equals to my name Prasanna. This is how we can store a variable and some value inside a variable. Okay, that's it. Now while defining this variable name, in case of Java and C, C++, we have to define the type of that kind of data we are about to put inside this. So in case of name, it will be string name and then the value. But in case of Python and JavaScript, we don't actually have to think about what kind of data will be inside the variable. In the compile time, it will be automatically initialized. Okay, so static language like C, C++ or Java, you have to be very strict with this data type. But Python actually gives you that some kind of flexibility to alter the kind of data you want to put, which become a pain also, because when you are not tightly restricting your data, eventually while developing it might cause some kind of problem sometime. So as I was saying, int age equals to 25, you have to define this integer or int in the first place, and this is an example of C++ or Java. Okay, now in case of Python you can actually store anything like this. That's why this is called dynamically typed programming language. Okay, next comes the concept of heap and stack memory. So this is how it works. Now here let's say you have a variable like these are variable. Okay, this age and then before that this name, all these things are variable. So let's say you are storing something. Now your variable is a and you are storing the value 10. Okay, now if you are creating another value and inside that value you are also storing b equals to a, or you are let's say storing a equals to 10 and b equals to 10. So what will happen, this will be your heap memory. Okay, and this will be your stack memory. So multiple records inside your stack will be created. Like if you are creating two variable a and b, then a and b will be inside your heap memory, stack memory. Then if both of the variable have same value, then actually a and b both will point to the heap memory as address. So there are certain types like pass by reference, pass by value. We'll take a look about all of this in upcoming future lectures. Okay. And if I talk about data types, these are some basic data type, and obviously there is some other advanced data types also. Like there is tuple, there is library, and obviously there is dictionary, and there is array. Although in Python there is nothing like array, but there is tuples. But these are some basic data types like integer, float, like this to store decimal values. And there is string, and then there is boolean to store true value or false value. Then there is different operators also, like basic mathematics, like plus, minus, multiplication, and division. All these things are also possible. And then there is if else block. We are going to learn with this in upcoming videos. And loops are also there, functions also there. So all the things we will cover one by one. So this was just a introduction video. I just wanted to give some idea what we are going to learn in this video, in this bootcamp. And today I think I somehow tried to give some basic idea what we are going to do here in upcoming days. But in future, now from now on, like from tomorrow, we will be doing some hands-on coding practice for each and every section. And within, let's say, 20 to 25 video, I am going to cover entire Python part, and then we'll eventually move to the development part. Now I just started, so stick with me to learn more. Thank you. Let's connect to the next video.